Hey, Google, stop. Google, stop. How do you get the technology off? No, we do not give up. I must swallow my pride. You're the one that I all love. And saying goodbye. Why? Say something. Do not give up. Keep going. Is this working now? Say something. Your voice matters. Hey, Google. Stop. Thank you. Isn't technology wild? Isn't technology wild? You would not believe. Woo! Yeah, baby. This is it. Stand by you. Dun, 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 dun. It's the only light we'll see. Be afraid, oh, I won't be afraid, 'cause I'll rise above the fear. Darling, stand by me, oh, when we stand as we will overcome all the BS of this world. Stand by me. Just tremble and fall. Shed a tear, I'll shed many, it's true that I'll cry many tears. Because when we lose anyone, it sucks, and we don't know how to trust ourselves to get through something we've never done before. But if we stand together, we rise. Together we stand stronger than alone. It's true. It's true. You can be the one who's stand by me. Whoa, stand together, we're free. When we stand, we are stronger. By me, oh, stand by me. Stand by me, oh, stand by me. Hey, Google, stop. Thank you. Hello, Cass. All right, so now that I have no idea where this is streaming, I am going to tell you what I intended to tell you in the first time, and then we'll see where we actually are. It's 12:22. I've got a beautiful puppy in front of me. And so we are going to just do that which I had intended to do as to why I came on today before Stand By Me came on, and I freestyled some of my own lyrics, which I recommend you do as well. Did you know that when you actually sing, you activate your vagus nerve? I've heard, and that is what allows you to start self-regulating and settling your own nervous system, which is why we feel nervous. When our nervous system is dysregulated, we're going to feel nervous. So, whoops, we got a power cord issue where the puppy is got caught up, and now she is not. We've all got caught up in a lot of stuff, in fact. And so what I wanted to share with you was the email. Ah, Carl, I sing all day. Fantastic. Awesome. All right. Well, then I know that it is indeed streaming to YouTube, which is fantastic. So I'm glad for that. Thank you for the chat. And I look forward to sharing with you what is happening in the month to come. And to do so, I'm going to read you the email that I am sending to those who are subscribed to ljeh.ca. You can go on to the mailing list there. It's a double confirmation, so you have to confirm the email sent to you to say indeed you do want to be able to receive emails from yours truly, Laura J. And then I'll be able to send automated emails to you, as well as the freestyled ones that are being written as I go and set up this series for you. So this one is called, Are You Ready to Transform Your ID? Nearing another month end. So indeed, tomorrow is the last day of the first day of 2023. And I believe that we are far more powerful than what we have any comprehension. And with that power comes great responsibility to be ourselves authentically in good company, which is why we have Peaceful Inner Warriors United, which is the community you have an opportunity to join on Telegram. And there's a Facebook group as well, which has less banter in terms of chat room, but you do have the sharing feature. And I do ask in both that we really do our best to stay away from the certificate of X, ID, AI, to actually focus our energies on creating that which we wish to see come into fruition from our inner heart center after having actually let the emotions and energies in motion rise. For those are the soul fragments that will show up. And when they're no longer trying to hide, it can be very scary for those aspects of us that have been rejected before to come back into the now moment, not knowing whether we're going to be a safe host for them to be themselves in or not. And that's really what we're all looking for, self-acceptance. So what I hope to be able to do is offer that to the community that we will have grow in the month of February as we go on a journey inward. So this was how I'm going to sow these seeds into the emails I send to those who are already subscribed to ljeh.ca. As I said before, I say again, because repetition is the king of learning, said the Greeks. The gnosis, which is spelt Gnosis, which is spiritual knowledge. The gnosis hosts on us who believe in ghosts of fear, that need us to revere a source outside of us. It is not to say we originated us, but it is to say that we may be the center point in this whole magical and divine existence of life. So, dear you, the transformation of self-image is a phenomenon that we all go through many times in our lives, especially when we're on the personal growth path. Several years after learning of Joseph Campbell's work on the hero's journey in a children's literature class at McMaster University during my studies, I was reintroduced to the concept from the perspective of the sales process and the journey people go through when making sizable investments into themselves. It sparked something in me, and I've held it in mind ever since. committing to write a book on it in 2017, which became Fully Committed, The Sacred Sojourn of Now. If you haven't grabbed your copy yet, you can reply to this email with your mailing address so I can send you an invoice for $25 Canadian and shipping. So you get the signed copy from me directly. If you have a group interested in having me speak, I'm looking to get the word out as well. So please do let me know if you've got a few who would like to know about the hierarchy of creation and where we stand as men and women compared to creations by something man created, which means it indeed requires we kneel in order to get knighted and receive a status, title, or personage that would change us into something fictitious that allows us to become part of the legal fiction that requires us be dead by terms of the birth certificate and then die slowly in life force, for the vampires prefer a slow feeding rather than the buffet all at once. It is more profitable to the corpse, which is what the corporate entity is, for us to slowly move towards our death rather than as quickly as what we thought was coming, with the insanity of all that is around us in humanity, seeing how it will be humanity that falls, not mankind. For when man is kind, there is no need for distinction between the hues of the man I tied my identity to, but no longer do, because I see through the hues, for they are only but frequencies and vibrations. I need not shade myself neither, for the shadow is where our emotions get stuck in a not now moment that require us to leave now to deal with that then. Well, it's only now when we can heal any of it. So instead of revisiting it, call it present, let it rise and feel the discomfort, whether it even agonize you and knock you off kilter in the moment. Breathe through it, drop your breath to your lower belly. Fill it like an ice cream scoop. Breathe up all the way to fill top to bottom to top instead of halfway down and then to push down deeper. No need for the force when you actually just start to lead all the way. So you give yourself room for expansion instead of contraction, which is what the corporate entity requires we do. We are expanded and we are here to expand further. That is what evolution is. Contractions require us get into smaller and smaller boxes that can be labeled, defined, and then refined if believed to need something other than what is available in that moment. Special needs. Being eligible for the maid service really upsets and angers me, because this is now when people who have been traumatized and seeded with disempowerment are then being called to make a decision about their ability to lie, to live, with lies from others who believe that it would be easier to come back again in a different form, to just start over from where we stopped, right? No, we don't start over from where we stopped or left off necessarily. Maybe, but what we definitely do is fall into the gaps that we who are here now, in this moment, now you, yes, we have things to do while we're here to close gaps in awareness that we would fall into in future, others would too. If we don't close those gaps, we fall into them next time. And in fact, I believe that right now, we're on a timeline where we either choose death or life for ourselves collectively and individually. And that's why with great power comes great responsibility, and why I'm sharing what I am in the way that I am. And I'm so excited to have finally seen how it all fits together in a package that would seem so unbelievable. Some might call it mystical or the occult. But what is the occult but secret or hidden information? Latin itself meaning the same. It is about hidden and secret information and codes that were kept from the people in order to know that we needed middleman so that we're capitalized and the T no longer has the cross at the top and instead is boxed in, letting the entity be what we need for that's as high as we can go, yo. The head was lopped off when the T was crossed at the top, no longer in the center, where the heart is what leads, the head then does instead, and it needs all those statuses, titles, and personages. We are going back to the base, to the root, and it's exciting. And if you want my book, which is going to be a guide for it, led me to where it did last April when I sat down to write it and did in a month. 5 years after I set out to do that and did then too, but deemed it not good enough because I believed I wasn't. It was the book that transformed my self-image countless times on the way to becoming an author, to becoming the author of it. And the transformations I went through on the way were brutal because I allowed so much self-doubt to tag along for the ride. Maybe you can relate. But I learned from it all, and I am ready to share the best I've discovered till now. Throughout the month of February, you are invited to go on a journey of introspection that is also intended to offer you insight and inspiration to make it through the emotional lows that come with reinventing your self-image and perceived place in this world. So you're invited to consciously and intentionally join hands with others who are willing to choose their highest timelines too. The Peaceful Inner Warriors United Community is an organically expanding assembly of men and women who are daring to do the inner work and want to be connected to others who are also rising above the drama and trauma of the past so that together at last, we can be the change we seek in this place. It's time to realize that this place is not what we thought or were taught because the tales and lore we grew up on came from more sinister roots than we could see on the surface, where poisonous fruits and flowers pose prettily until one draws too near and grows to fear what is found. I have finally realized how my awakening experience and the way I handled it were reflective of the times we're living in now. I just took the messages way too literally and wound up getting caught up in the modern day witch hunts, which have been legalized and normalized under an act no man benefits from. Having been interested in the concept of witchcraft from the fringes since I was a child, I never got directly involved with it, but I read everything I came across on the subject to better understand what made these women and some men such a threat. And what I found was a lack of respect or right connection amidst people who could only comprehend so much before getting nervous and uncomfortable. So to prevent this energetic activation from continuing, the tribe removed the one rubbing off charged energy onto others. It means countless souls have lost their vessels to people who didn't like the mirror they acted as, or who were on the other end of an order someone was tasked to complete for the corpse paying them, which seems to have often been either the church or state ruling powers in that area. Well, it's time to consider that Earth is a planetation that is harvesting our energy while we participate in the ultimate Hunger Games experience. It's time to realize that there is a history we haven't been told intentionally about our past and the polar shifts that wiped out humanity in the past and is threatening to now do again if we don't get our acts together in this place we call home. Funny, we've largely failed to see that Earth is heart in a different order. Each day in February, I'm going to share a different key to a door within your inner realms that you are called to call back to your heart center with support, guidance, and awareness that you are not in this alone. If you don't want to get these emails, but don't want to remove yourself from my list entirely, just tell me you need a break so I can freeze your account without losing you altogether, the symbolic connection of which we'll get into. I look forward to going on this journey with you and appreciate you for choosing me to be one of your guides in the year that we course corrected as a collective and united instead of going to war for men behind screens who get to watch the entertainment unfold with minimal accountability. These days, those days are over. And what my journey to here taught me is that inner peace is the way we achieve united harmony and avoid destroying ourselves. That is the journey we are going on. And I'd love to know how this message is received. So please respond to let me know. Your questions, comments, and context help me create relevant content for those on this journey with me who are subscribed at ljeh.ca. If you're not already, make sure you do that today. Do it now. Why wait? I appreciate you and hope you'll take some time to reflect on how this first month of the year has went for you so far. What wins or misses occurred that were great opportunities for you to prepare for next time with more experience. February is going to be an epic month indeed, and I'm grateful to be in this with you. With love and respect, Laura J. Namaste. I am. Just to say that today, this video right now is my 998 video, which means that in 2 more videos, I'm going to surpass the 1,000 mark. And that is absolutely wild to me. It is absolutely wild to me that I am about to get to 1,000 views and I've only got about 1,500 subscribers, and I've been at this since 2015. And I know it's about to completely skyrocket beyond that. I know that it is about to change in massive ways, and fully committed was how I got here. Literally, fully committed to myself, to getting this book done, to being the best that I can be, to doing what I felt called to, even when I got called crazy for it and locked up for it and diagnosed as having had a psychotic episode with bipolar tendencies because of how many times I've had super lows after having completely destroyed my identity or had it removed or changed in a way that was drastic and altering, as have so many over the course of this insane experience that we have been going through collectively. In the sacred sojourn of the soul, I wrote about in Fully Committed. If you haven't got your copy of this book yet and would like to, it's in chapters and on Amazon. I've also created the audio program for it on Audible that you can get and listen to 7 hours and 4 minutes of me reading my own story. And I can tell you that there's going to be another story which is being written in the months to come with those emails that if you're not subscribed to, then you're just going to have to buy the whole book when it's published after the month. Not to say it's going to be published immediately, but what I do believe is there's going to be tremendous gold in there, because what I have come to see is that we who are here now are the ones who came here to make sure that we don't do what we have done in previous civilizations when we and our hunger and need for power surpassed the capacity of the earth to house us. And we got kicked off, we got the boot. And not all did, some survived. And then those became the ones that seeded new seeds. But what I believe is that we need to sow those seeds now. I believe that our ancestors entrusted us with that great responsibility and task. And I believe that we are perfectly qualified for it. I believe we need not permission in order to complete the mission that we feel assigned to on our hearts. And I believe that if we carry self-doubt with us, then we are only going to contaminate that which in our hearts is pure, and then expressed through an impure vessel gets tainted. I believe it is time for us to band together and realize that it is not better to be better than others. It is better to rise on the tide that is lifting us all if we are willing to no longer hide the emotions of energies in motion from the past that need to move now. For now is the only moment that we ever have. And sometimes we tune into now, back then, in a different version of it. And we say, well, holy shit. And things make so much more sense in retrospect when we see what we thought we saw then and see it now in context of who we are now and see, oh, they weren't wrong. They just didn't have all the pieces yet. I'm not claiming to have all the pieces yet still, but it is 12:42 and I say to you, it is time. It is time for us to follow the white rabbit wolf through the halls of our inner kingdoms to reclaim the soul fragments that we used to blame for not being good enough as to why they got locked up in these parts of ourselves, our personality, the persona, housekeeper that would keep us all in check within ourselves, lest we wreck the image others have of us from the deck, where they are watching us on the stage of life do what we do, thinking this is what it all is. Well, there are a lot of tears you don't see, screams and fears and heals that have happened, insecurities that arise and get dealt with still. Believe me, life triggers us in order to activate more of us back to now. And we must trust that we would not be led to it if we could not make it through it. Some of us have greater faith than others, and we who do have great faith need to lead without trying to put the source of all creation into a box of words. Whatever you call the source of all, let it be okay for others to call it differently. Okay? That may piss many off, I know. I appreciate we're very attached to the labels we identify with because they make us feel safe. But we have to recognize that the label that someone else uses to put onto the all that is being talked about by both parties, who are not parties, they're each individuals, which would be individual separate from an entity. So actually, why not just be man and woman, or man and man, or just be the ones who can be real? Whether we call that a woe or not, why not just deal the hand we were dealt by a house that is stacked against us if we don't realize the connection of the Roman Empire to now? Somehow, in the next month, you can learn that story the way that I did, without the effort, but with the benefit of getting to hear all that I have put together in the ultimate story that is as true as what I could possibly tell it. And what I do believe is that we are on the cusp, and it is our need for war and our loyalty to the wrong dog that has us give the nod to the grantor of domain, not realizing the grantor of dominion gave us dominion over these common lands we stand on as men and women, as real ones, living and breathing souls, incarnated in vessels that need not be consumed by the vassal of the Vatican any longer than we already have. Our kin need be protected, for we are the ones that can do it when we see the lies and then see through it. And we who do must lead the way, for we go the way in order to show the way. John Maxwell used to say. Those were great days. 7 years of my life, I was heavily invested in a team that was leadership oriented. And I am so grateful for that opportunity, which I believe will one day pay off in the greatest way because of all of the amazing individuals, men and women that I met in my journey who had positions of power and also just merely positions of influence and a desire for betterment. And that was great to be able to rub shoulders with from the age of 23 until I was 27 and moved back to Canada. And then I was 30 when I kind of pulled back and wanted to start on my own without the resources to do so, nor the support network, which is what a huge part of our Rolodex really is. Like the Rolodex that we think is on our watch, that Rolodex that has all the numbers and contacts is the Rolex. The Rolex watch and the Rolodex, parallel in value, but the Rolodex is worth way more. So if you are not part of Peaceful Inner Warriors United Assembly on Telegram, make sure you get in so that you can be part of the conversation. And I very much do look forward to coming to you through the month of February as we go on a journey like we have never done before. And I send you massive, massive love, blessings, and desire for us to be that which we wished would come for us the whole time, and now realize we're it. We're the players on the field of consciousness. And it's time for us to act conscionably, which is a huge part of this. I'm going to do a video on that very soon, before the thousandth. Oh no, how long have that been there? I wonder. What do you do? When you see things happen live, you tell people, or you just tell people sooner when you notice it. And then it's just like, you might want to get that. That would have been nice next time. I'd appreciate it. But in the meantime, I caught it myself. But this is why I focus on you, not me specifically. And if I focus on me and you and make sure we're both in view, then maybe that means that I can look after you better if I'm checking in on me too. Just remember that for you, with who is on the other side of your screen in the life that you are leading, and living, and hopefully loving. Blessings, Laura J. Namaste. Namago for today.